The billionaire media mogul Ted Turner, who gave longevity to the Looney Tunes, has passed. And we saw Mortal Kombat too, so, well, get over here!
Are you ready, eager young space cadets? Meep, meep.
I saw a potentate.
That is the limit.
Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
Hello and welcome to Of Course You Realize This Means podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Graves, and if you'll bear with me, I have a slight cold, but it will go away in a couple of days. But yeah, and I'm wearing my Dexter's Laboratory Roosevelt's shirt. Shout out to Roosevelt's, who is a friend of the podcast and a really great company overall. And yeah, I'm doing that in, I guess, retrospective of what we've lost with Cartoon Network no longer being around, but now like the media mogul Ted Turner, who had such a lively history with cartoons and somebody who championed them for so long, especially in the 90s, and kind of gave birth to a whole new generation of fans for animation. And I know like people cite a lot of their career trajectory started with Cartoon Network and what was going on because it was giving voice to a lot of young animators and storytellers in a really fun way. But before we get into all that, I'm here with my wife and journalist, travel journalist, and theme park aficionado, Sabina Graves.
And former Cartoon Network employee. Oh, yeah. Yes. So I was fortunate enough to be a small part of that legacy for a spell. Like, this man was very larger than life and such an advocate for animation in ways that, you know, I'm worried we won't ever see again.
Yeah.
That is like the scary part.
Yeah, things are dire, especially on the animation front.
And, you know, I know we do have our champions, and I do hope that they are able to help us to a new renaissance for animation as a medium, not just for family, but for everyone, because it is a powerful storytelling tool.
Yeah, and a really wonderful medium for all ages to get into different types of genre. And, you know, I think that's one of the things that I like championing for animation, where, you know, back in the 90s, it was strictly just for kind of slapstick and quick like visual gags, but now it's grown and matured to like full-on dramas are animated now.
Yeah.
On Amazon and the like, and it's really great to see that.
And it's also pretty much thanks to Turner in a way, because you described him this morning as, you know, feeling the loss of a fun uncle, and this man, you know, he opened his pockets for a lot of the cartoons that were curated around our childhoods. And that is, you know, from Hanna-Barbera to, you know, the Looney Tunes.
The MGM catalog with Droopy and Tom and Jerry.
And to the eventual, you know, foundation of Cartoon Network. This is the person who, you know, did open up those doors to all of us and was that fun uncle. Like, here, watch a cartoon.
Yeah. And just a fun bit of history with Cartoon Network. Rhapsody Rabbit was the first ever cartoon aired on the network, and that was a Bugs Bunny short where he's, you know, playing a piano with a mouse. And I just thought that was really cool because he I don't know who chose that, but it's really special to start your network off with a competition against a mouse when the biggest, you know, competitor in the animation world is a mouse, and then Bugs Bunny is the, you know, equal competitor on that front. So that was a really smart move by whoever did that. And then, so we're recording this on May the 6th of 2026, and that is when Ted Turner has passed. Cartoon Network launched October 1st of 1992. He also created CNN and TBS and TNT and like a bunch of other
WCW.
Yeah, a lot of like other milestone things that led to basic cable.
This guy was a mensch, dude. Like, you know, he like could wipe the floor with Vince McMahon and had
The only one.
Yeah, he like the more better taste in women. I would say Jane Fonda for one. You know, who penned the most iconic dedication to Ted Turner on Instagram.
Read it.
And honestly, you know, obviously from this man being such a Renaissance man himself with sailing and, you know, knowing the history and the classics and all that. But my favorite section.
Turner Classic Movies also.
Yeah, and basically, like, my favorite part of this dedication is the details that, you know, made Ted stand out to Jane Fonda, you know, and one of the things which goes to show, and it speaks to that choice of the mouse versus the rabbit cartoon, is that Ted was a very competitive person, apparently. In Jane Fonda's words, whether it was who had made the most ski runs at the end of the day, to acres of land owned, stewarded is the more fitting word for his relationship to land, who had the most billions, how many countries he'd made love to his prior lover in, and could I match that? It was challenging. Ted was challenging, but I've always been up for a challenge. And with Ted, it was almost always worth it. I mean, grown-ups, we know that they apparently knew ball all over the world, and they spun it, and just wow.
Yeah, Jane Fonda doesn't have a whole lot of a filter when it comes to things like that, but that's to be expected.
Our
but
queen.
Obviously, she is dealing with loss as well. She knew him
One
personally.
of the great loves of her life.
Yeah. Back to the Cartoon Network thing, what's really great about this was they created an original series to find new shows, and it launched Shows You Know, which is absolutely insane. How many times has that worked? But they did a thing back in the late 90s, early 2000s called What a Cartoon series, and it featured the pilots for Johnny Bravo, Cow and Chicken, the Powerpuff Girls, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and Mike, Lou, and Og. The network also had popular original programming like Ed, Edd and Eddy, Samurai Jack, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and Codename Kids Next Door. You're also a fan of Adventure Time.
Yep.
That was also through Cartoon Network. But the one that kicked it off, the one that like blew everyone away, was Giddy Tartakovsky's Dexter's Lab, which is why I'm wearing the shirt, because it was such a important cartoon for me too, because I saw like anything is possible now, because you had original artists coming in and doing riffs on Looney Tunes, doing riffs on like Muppets. Like they had so many different milestones
and literally
that were
having
touching.
The songwriter of the Muppet movies on.
Yeah, Paul Williams wrote songs for this show. Like it
was on
really,
the show.
Yeah, and was on the show. It was really, really awesome.
He was also on Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, we're segueing now?
Yeah. Why do everyone always does that? Like this isn't the only podcast where I've planted the segue.
Well,
and now
I like that you did that. However, we're not there yet, because
Okay.
I have the list right here. This is how we go.
All right.
Thing to thing.
Sorry for breaking your rules, man.
Don't
have a cow, man.
That's the enemy. That's the wrong network.
I mean, I'm not the co-host here, because if you Google me, you will find out that I am a Disney adult, and we live in a house divided.
So speaking of original Looney Tunes, that's where I was going with this. We have news that there is a new short called Daffy Season, which is going to be at a special event at the Annecy Animation Festival, which is in France. Hopefully we get to go out and report from there all the goings on. Because
Warner Brothers Animation is going to have a big presentation that we're so excited about, that's going to introduce a new era for the company.
Yeah, the Warner Brother Pictures Animation Company, which is a subsidiary of the Warner Brother Pictures. So yeah, it's going to be a huge thing. I know that they have some plans to show some of their upcoming projects, like The Cat in the Hat and Bad Fairies. I don't know if they're going to show the full movies. I know they're going to show extended looks, because we've already seen a couple trailers for Cat in the Hat. And I know Bad Fairies was shown at CinemaCon. Yeah, thank you. And so we'll see maybe a bit more of that. But the thing that draws my attention away from everything else is that there's a 35-minute runtime to this Daffy season. And if this short is going to play before Cat in the Hat, there's never been a short that's been that long, first of all. So I'm thinking that this runtime is all of the Annecy stuff included. So like interviews and like, preamble and everything. And shortly after this recording, it was sent to me that the page had originally stated that the runtime was 6 minutes and 29 seconds, which is your average short for a Looney Tunes. So yeah, it's right on par with the classics and the later Looney Tunes cartoon series of shorts that came out. And I believe that there are some voice actors that are going to remain as part of this project as well. So in any case, I'm very excited that we're getting new Looney Tunes in this way. And I think they're going to want to do CG animation with these characters, but I don't know in what aspect.
We have seen Daffy in other mediums as well already.
Sure. So we had Daffy in Wacky Land, which was stop motion. Before that, there was the 2012 Daffy's Rhapsody, which was a 3D rendered Daffy and Elmer Fudd. And we had Daffy in Space Jam: A New Legacy, where he's CGI rendered.
I look expensive.
Along with all the other characters. I mean, it could be they use those models for this. I'm not quite sure. But we do have a little bit of a synopsis. So, from Warner Brothers Pictures Animation, Daffy Season, a Looney Tunes short film. Daffy is ready for duck season, but Elmer is too immersed in his new obsession, soccer. And so slowly the world around Daffy turns into a zombie-esque nightmare as the Toons become obsessed with soccer. This is a really unique premise. I mean, you're also, capitalizing on the sports integration into Looney Tunes, which has been successful with Space Jam and Baseball Bugs. And yeah, so I don't know. Will soccer get the same benefit from becoming that sport that they integrate with?
For me, I clued in on the word zombies, and I love zombies. So I hope there are literal soccer zombies in this short. They have some great comedic writers on that penned this script, so I'm looking forward to how weird this is going to get. And I think it's a perfect introduction to the Looney Tunes while also having that paired with the Cat in the Hat and the Seuss weird, fun, whimsical learning adventure that they're in store for. And I think that it's going to work.
I hope so. So this is written by Jenny Jaffe, Hamish Grieve, and Todd Wilderman, and directed by the latter two names, Todd Wilderman and Hamish Grieve. I am looking forward to this, and I hope that we can catch it at Annecy. If not, we will catch it in theaters alongside Cat in the Hat, most likely. So if it's not with Cat in the Hat, where do you think it's going to be?
I think it's going to be with Cat in the Hat.
Yeah, okay.
I think that it's going to be like a throwback to having the animated shorts in front of the feature, and that this could be a good way to introduce a new generation to these legacy characters. I'm so excited to take our daughter Ellie, who is turning 2 this year, to see this in a theater and laugh at an audience. I mean, laugh at them, because my daughter, she wants to laugh at people. No, I'm kidding. Laugh with an audience, and experience the magic of animation, the magic of the Cat in the Hat. We've been reading Dr. Seuss to her since she was in the womb. So to have these very foundational legacy franchises hopefully be released together, I think will be such a fantastic experience for families and for, just people who grew up with a love for these stories and these characters.
Yeah, and Chuck Jones and Ted Geisel were friends, and so that's why he did the animated version of The Grinch. But yeah, so like having, that kind of collaboration continue on is great. But the big one for Annecy is going to be the feature reveal of Batman Nightfall Part 1. If this is anything like The Dark Knight Returns Part 1, then I'm seated because that blew me away. And I was not the hugest fan of that comic. And I don't know, same goes for this a little bit. I'm not a huge Bane fan, but I am willing to go on a journey if it's animated in a really fun way. And so this is directed by Jeff Waymaster and written by Jeremy Adams. And so it follows the plot of the beginning of the saga where Bane orchestrates a mass breakout at Arkham Asylum to push Batman to his mental and physical breaking point, literally breaking his back. That's where that came from in The Dark Knight Rises, if you saw The Dark Knight Rises. And this was announced as being in production at New York Comic Con. And now we're getting a multi-part animated adaptation of this legendary 1990s DC comic storyline. And yeah, it's scheduled for release later on this year on digital and home entertainment. You've seen some of the Batman animated projects. Do you have any interest in this?
You know, I've always been pretty hit or miss with them. However, my favorite is Mask of the Phantasm. And that for me is like top tier. That's the bar. So I'm willing to continue to watch these animated Batman films with you.
Thank you. That is the bar. I agree. Mask of the Phantasm is great. And that was what culminated from the creative team behind Batman the Animated Series, which there are a lot of Easter eggs in the latest Batman Lego game, Legacy of the Dark Knight, releasing May 22nd for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC with a 72-hour early access period starting on May 19th for those who did the premiere pre-order. And we were previewed to a couple of these Easter eggs that we're going to be seeing in the game, one of which is the intro. The entire intro to the game is just a tribute to the iconic opening of the Batman the Animated Series opening, but they added Robin. But then there's like, I don't know, they have like little comedic touches that they add to these. Obviously it's Lego, so they have to do that.
I need to disclose this from the jump, is that I am not a gamer. I am very close to a casual gamer. However, the games I did grow up playing were the Lego Star Wars games. And, you know, not to talk about the other team for too much here, but I've always loved the comedic tone of the games and how fun it is to do co-op on those, honestly, because those were the games I played with my brother growing up. He was better at it than I was. I honestly just hyper-fixated on getting as many coins as possible, and he just did the fighting because that wasn't entirely for me. I am definitely someone who loves to watch video games and a button masher, so I am looking forward to playing this with Jonathan and maybe our daughter, who is also a button masher for now. And I hope that she will grow past that trait from me and be more of a gamer like her dad.
I think she definitely will. But I have to say that this is a breath of fresh air for animated series fans, because we've only had one other game and it was done by an independent distributor, and it was the most difficult game you've ever experienced. I only think I got past level 3, and there was like 8 or something levels, and I never got to experience them until I watched all these YouTube videos of like what happens. And it was like Batman on a roller coaster against the Joker who's throwing bombs at you. Like, it was insane. But it was for SNES. That's how long it's been.
Oh, my gosh. But so, yeah, no, the trailer that we watched has, like, the cutest homages to the opening credits of the animated series, which I've loved. Warner Brothers Games did such a great job at really choreographing. Like, we just watched a, like, side-by-side of both, and they go well together, and someone there loves it. Thank you, Warner Brothers Games.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they love all of the Batmans, because there's also, you know, so many references and Easter eggs to the entire...
Also, Lego Batman is one of my favorite Batmans.
I know.
I think he's the one I might relate to the most.
Fair. The one I relate to the most is the animated series one. We found it. There's a reference to Kevin Conroy in the ad space of the game, and it says Gotham City Radio After Hours with Conroy, the voice of Gotham's Knight. And it's really well done, and I'm looking forward to just playing this game and seeing all the little references. But Kevin Conroy was, somebody who I looked up to and was my Batman growing up, because he did the voice for the animated series Bruce Wayne and Batman. And we got to see him in the elevator once.
I will never live this down. I feel horrible that I did not recognize Kevin Conroy, but I also had not at that point seen
his face ever. You would never have been able to recognize him. Anyways,
so we were in this elevator.
We were at
Comic-Con.
And we got in this elevator that was outside of the convention center. And he was, I guess, just with his handler, like going back to his hotel room. And we got in the elevator. I saw him. I squeezed Sabina's hand
so tightly.
And she's like, who is it? Who is it? What is happening?
I don't even think I was whispering, you guys. Okay. Like, this is not my finest moment.
I don't think you audibly whispered. You visually whispered.
I mean, like, but my eyes, like,
your eyes were loud
on me. My eyes were very loud, and I looked very confused.
And I was like, it's Batman. And she goes, what? Who? How?
Yeah, and then I think we walk out behind him, I think. And then that's when you said it was Batman, and then it clicked.
And you said I should say
go
something.
Say something.
And I was like, no.
Because I know how much this means to you.
Yeah. I should have said something, but he was tired. He looked
tired for sure. This was a few years ago, and I just thought he was a very tall, handsome man. And had he spoken, I think it would have hit me like a ton of bricks. So
that's usually how it happens.
Yeah.
So another Easter egg we're getting is related to the Mask of the Phantasm. This is the Phantasm of the Opera. This is a fun little play on titles. And
listen, okay? Before you guys take away my animation fan card, I need you to know that my cred lies in other places, not just the other studio, but I am a huge Phantom of the Opera nerd. I feel like I've probably brought this up on the podcast before, because I always need to like defend my fandoms as like, hey, I was interested in so many things as an undiagnosed ADHD child teenager that my hyperfixation, I know about my hyperfixations, okay? And Phantom of the Opera, hyperfixation. The reason why I'm so obsessed with Mask of the Phantasm and also the reveal of that villain, I honestly don't even want to reveal it here because who knows? Like, people who listen to this podcast might be new to animation and becoming fans. You might be younger. But all I'm going to say is if you like the Phantom of the Opera, you need to go watch Mask of the Phantasm, like right now. Get on your HBO Max. If it's still there, if it's not there, I guess try Tubi.
Or go buy it.
Go buy it. They just did a re-release.
They did.
And it's fantastic. And this art, like, I turned to Jonathan and I was like, I'm going to make this the banner of all my social media platforms.
You should.
It currently is Tweety with the chicken Glock that goes Glock Glock. I mean, it better go Glock Glock. If it doesn't go Glock Glock, I'm going to be very mad.
From Coyote versus
Acme. No, because that image goes so hard. But this image also goes very hard. Maybe I'll just split them between the two because they both just... I mean, like, I feel like I would even get this tattooed on me.
I was going to say, it looks like a tattoo.
It looks like a tattoo. And honestly, I like Lego as well. These video games are like my jam. They're my childhood jam that I... honestly, for the stuff that I'm not, deeply immersed in fandom wise, I love to describe myself as a fandom tourist because I have so many people around me who love video games, who love things like Doctor Who or Dungeons and Dragons, and I will, like, on occasion just tourist and have fun to see everyone's love and enthusiasm for these things, which is why I'm also here.
Thank you. Well, I also like the text above and below the name, the Phantasm of the Opera, rather. Gotham City Theater Company presents the award-winning hit musical. So it is indeed a musical.
Oh my gosh. I want to write this Lego Mask of the Phantasm musical. Also, I really hope Warner Brothers Games are listening right now and puts, like, little cutscenes. That was like also my favorite part of video games. It's like I love watching people who can get through the levels, get through the story, because my ADHD butt could not handle that. But yes, I'm a fandom tourist. That's why I'm here. And there's just so many fandoms, like Static Shock.
There you go. Static Shock, the television series, which is also an animated show, is now streaming on Tubi, along with Looney Tunes and so many other wonderful Warner Brother IP.
That's the Warner Brothers kids slate right there, baby.
They're
Yes.
just lending it out. Tubi is the new Cartoon Network.
Oh,
Bringing
yeah.
it full circle.
No, totally. I feel like we could literally curate our child's after school Saturday mornings on Tubi.
Fun fact, whenever I put Tubi on and like it has a little intro sounds, she calls out, she goes, BB? Which is, no, BB, because I taught her to say BB instead of Bugs Bunny, because you can't say Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, it's very long.
And so she knows that Bugs Bunny lives on Tubi right now, which is really cute.
BB and Tweety Bird, who I literally every day fight for my daughter to say Tweety before Cuckoo Loca, which ironically, that is one thing from my other team that I cannot stand, is that they shamelessly did a version of Tweety Bird called Cuckoo Loca for Minnie and Daisy's Bow Tunes. And okay, you know what? I'm sure they're probably an homage, but it's so blatant and confusing, and I don't know how to not be offended for Tweety Bird on their behalf, because so many kids are now growing up with Cuckoo Loca as their first like exposure to that sort of character design, and honestly, that is not cool with me, because it's like I struggle with, and every time we watch Bow Tunes and then switch over to Tubi for Looney Tunes, I'm like, Tweety, that's Tweety, that's Tweety, that's Tweety. Say Tweety first, don't say Cuckoo Loca. Don't learn Cuckoo Loca first, learn Tweety first. Now that's a completely different bird that I want to see Mortal Kombat Cuckoo Loca.
Okay, speaking of Mortal Kombat. We got to go see Mortal Kombat at a special screening thanks to Warner Brothers, and we left the theater on an emotional high. I think it was a really satisfying film and a really good continuation of what was started in the first one.
Definitely. I think that it makes the first one, it elevates the first one, to be honest, because that film, was divisive when it came out, as people, were right to feel that, hey, where's the tournament? But if you put these two films together, and I'm actually excited because they are doing double features, it is such a great build to the tournament. So instead of having like a tournament shoved into the last act of the first film, it actually really establishes a crew of characters that you grow to care about, that have so much fun interacting with one another. And these are characters that you just like select on a board when you're playing the game to kind of represent you and how you want to fight. And so, really it is such a satisfying build to the second movie, because the second movie is just all tournament all the time.
So yeah, this is Katana's movie, played pitch perfect by Adeline Rudolph. She carries her role and her storyline really well, and you feel for her character as you see her loss, you see her confidence, you see her power, and so
here's like the thing about that introduction for Katana is that I think we went in like just excited with the same energy that the first movie gave us, of like this fun, like just like bloody good time. And I was so hyped for it to just start off like going to the races and hilarious and like violent. But no, it actually just, it hits you right in the chest with a just, I don't know if it's because we're parents to a little girl that it like hit us harder, but it hit me pretty hard.
It's an emotional gut punch.
Yeah, it's an emotional gut punch to see Katana's origin as a child.
Yeah. And you need that, because you need to sympathize with her character as she goes on this journey.
But yeah, like I was like ready to go, woo! And then like the first 15 minutes happen and I'm like, ooh.
But you know who does go woo?
Who?
Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage goes woo for you all the time. And like from start to finish, whenever he's on screen, it's electric. Carl Urban does a really good job bringing that character to life. And I've been a fan of that character for a really long time, going back to the early 90s when I would play him in the games and then watch him brutally be killed in Annihilation and then turn the movie off because what a garbage piece of movie that is. Do not like that movie. But I like this movie, and I like that this is a good showcase of what this game to movie adaptation can bring you. You have no training wheels on. This was, I'm going to do everything you see in the game and more, and you're going to go along with that ride, and it's going to be fun and visually stimulating and just really fun characters thrown at you, really fun quips.
The settings.
The setting, the background.
Settings.
Yeah,
oh
exactly.
My gosh.
Like, it's everything you are expecting from a video game adaptation of this movie done to its truest form. Like, this isn't Super Mario Brothers from 93. Like, you aren't getting this interpretation of what this is. You are getting what this is. You are getting hand-to-hand combat in other realms, and it's a championship for the master, and you get little icons for whose team is winning, and it is so cool. I love this movie.
Yes, and honestly, going back to the first movie, no matter what you feel about some of the characters in that, I think that it holds nothing back in you are familiar with the lore behind every character as they go into the tournament, which made this movie so stressful because it was Mortal Kombat violence. It was like I was getting flashbacks to button mashing and getting annihilated literally during some of these scenes.
They're brutal.
Moments. Yeah, it's
they're
so
very
brutal.
Gory. Yeah.
It's so gory.
I mean, it was produced by James Wan.
Yeah, of course.
So,
Atomic Monster. Like, they knew, you know what? They're like, oh, is this what people want? Okay, let's go.
They leaned in.
They leaned in.
For the best.
And the cast is such a great ensemble. And I agree with you. Adeline Rudolph as Katana really does anchor this movie alongside Carl Urban in leading the ensemble. And it really just has such a great duality with these journeys that they're going on.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
There's so much happening that, like, you find yourself rooting for the good guys and the bad guys. And I mean, like, I personally, as a fan of Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina from Netflix, I loved how referential this movie was in that, like, you have Katana and Jade played by Tati Gabrielle, who was one of the Weird Sisters alongside Adeline. So that, like, whenever they called each other sisters, I was like, yeah, those my witches. I love it. And even, like, Kano, like, is a walking, talking meta WB franchise machine in this.
Yeah, I mean, he's just throwing out quips that are related to, you know, WBIP all over the place. And I mean, also, he's back.
And he's back. I mean, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Kano's back.
Kano's back. You had to have him in this. I mean, the hilarity. And also the circumstances of how he comes back, just bonkers. But also, it feels so true to video games. Like, that's something that, like, I'm just like, no, this is a very meta joke, is that, like, this is a video game you can pick up and play the characters again.
Yeah. 3 that stood out to me are Sonya Blade, Jax Briggs, and Liu Kang. And I love those from the video game days. And I love those from the original 90s movies. And I love them here because the casting is on point. And you got Ludi Lin playing Liu Kang. And that is just so awesome.
I love to call the Power Rangers cast from the recent reboot,
the 2017 reboot. Yeah.
Because they were incredible. Another ensemble
they deserve better.
People slept on. I mean,
and I won't say who else is returning in this, but I'm really excited for you to experience those surprises like I did. And yeah, it's just a thrill to get real Mortal Kombat, you know, principles in a movie, and you're just gonna go with it. You're like, yeah, this is what would happen if Mortal Kombat was happening. I think one of the crowd pleasers is going to be Baraka, who surprised me as well. And I don't believe there's ever been a live action adaptation of that character from the games. And the way that they did his character in relation to Johnny Cage was hysterical.
Definitely.
So overall, I had a feeling of immense joy. I played this game as a kid, and now I'm watching the most realistic adaptation that we could ever have of a Mortal Kombat movie, and I was enthralled from beginning to end. I don't think there's a single second that I wasn't like on the edge of my seat or like thinking about what's going to happen next. Like I always was caring about the characters, caring about the worlds, caring about the stakes. The stakes were huge in this.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had such a formidable villain who I love to hate. I love to hate this guy. And he is out there like smashing bodies and like breaking skulls.
Yeah, dude. Like this isn't a spoiler, but I was getting flashbacks to Game of Thrones, like Viper death. Because honestly, yeah, like it was brutal. I was so shocked at the choices that were made, and it's gonna be such a crowd pleaser. The whole time I was like, I can't wait to come back with our friends that we play this game with and watch it in like a group.
Yeah, absolutely. And also this has me more excited about Coyote versus Acme because it was written by Jeremy Slater.
Yes.
Who also helped write the story for Coyote versus Acme.
With James Gunn.
Mortal Kombat 2 comes out in theaters on May 8th. I think it's a bloody breakneck good time, and it makes fans of the original really proud. What are your closing thoughts? You have to give your closing thoughts.
I got lost in the sauce, man. Thinking about how violent this movie was and how much fun it is to like see people just get fatality.
You kept looking over at me like, did we just see that happen? Especially with, insert person here who got their head smashed and you were like, what?
That was rough, man. And yeah, I'm trying to think of the funny things again. Okay, there's just not Game of Thrones. There's Game of Thrones references. No, there's not. Yes,
there's a Pennywise reference.
There's Pennywise reference. There probably is a Game of Thrones
Voldemort reference.
Yeah, there's eyeliner stuff is so funny.
Oh yeah, the Necromancer was a standout, just as a character.
Standout,
I want the Necromancer to show up in other movies.
Is that
Last Action Hero? Yeah,
character?
He's a playable character.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. But
yeah.
I want him to show up in other movies. Like a character dies and like the Necromancer just shows up, like Last Action Hero.
Oh my god!
Whenever like they break through the screen, but it would be like him just in a different movie, like waking up somebody who's dead, and you're like, oh my god! Like if Rachel came back in the Dark Knight, like at the end, she just walks in. She's like, what is happening?
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, there's also Lord of the Rings references, which Carl Urban, like there was a lot. And at some point, he also says something about like a medic, and I was like, Star Trek. I did a lot of Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the screen.
Oh, I see, because it was Carl Urban.
Yeah,
I see. Yeah,
yes, yeah.
I got there.
You don't go there.
I don't. That's why it took me a while.
Yeah, I also don't go there. But see, that's one of the ones I tourist in sometimes.
Yeah. Are you touristing in Mortal Kombat or you go here?
I mean...
Wait. What was your... I never asked this. Did you watch the 94 film?
Yes, but I don't remember it. I was 4 years old.
Why did you watch it at 4?
Because I had cousins who were teenagers who would have to babysit us as tiny children and would put stuff on that we probably should not be watching.
We should watch it.
I have like vague recollections of it. I think, did we not watch it when we watched the first of the reboot? I thought we did.
No.
I remember some dude with like white hair.
Oh, maybe I put it on in the background.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a fun background movie.
Yeah. I mean, I would consider myself a big fan of this franchise as the movies because as someone who isn't fully in on the Mortal Kombat game fandom, because again, I'm not a gamer, I thought that this movie does enough with the characters to keep me interested in seeing them go through the most violent of fighting scenario, smash pieces of flesh and bones and stuff, which is what I loved to watch while people are playing the tournament and we're all hanging out without me having to be the person playing and getting my character dismembered in various forms with their spine ripped out, you know.
I really want to praise this movie for not doing rigorous trials. There's a conceit in action movies, especially ones based on video games, where you have to send your character through rigorous trials for them to become who they are. And this doesn't do that. This actually lets them fight other characters right from the jump.
And it really perfectly embeds it in that, and the way it's done
does, yeah.
for Johnny Cage, because I mean, you know, this isn't a spoiler, you know this from the trailers, that Johnny Cage comes in and he's like, I don't have no superpowers, yo, like, I'm just pretty. And so, like, you're really stressing out for Johnny Cage when he's like immediately thrown into the tournament, and you're just like, whoa, what is gonna happen?
Yeah,
like, for a moment, I legitimately thought they were going to just
kill him
off. Just like, well, that's what you said. You said, like, you would be so mad.
Oh, my God. Well, because they did that in Annihilation.
It was the second one. And it was also the second one. So
if they had done that, I would have walked out of the theater. I literally would have got up and walked out and told Warner Brothers, thank you, but no thank you.
But I'm happy that they skirt around his doom in fun ways. Doom. He was Doom.
Judge Doom?
No.
What?
I can't. I'm tired,
Where?
okay?
When was he Doom?
Whatever. Hang on, go back. I got it, okay? I know what I meant to say. I meant to say that I was dreading. I was dreading his death. I've killed Jonathan. Finish him.
I'm dead.
I was dreading his death because they did such a good job at just throwing him into the fire, and the dread was there for Judge Dredd.
Nice recovery. Well, we clearly recommend this film, and if you get out to see it, let us know in the comments of wherever you're listening to this what you thought of the film, or on Instagram over at This Means Podcast, where you can follow all of us and the ongoings of the Looniverse and its updates. Sabina, where can people find you online?
People can find me online at Live Like the Movies, Nerdist, The Nerds of Color, No Proscenium, and very soon, Scary Mommy, because I am a scary mommy.
So are the mommies in Mortal Kombat.
That is true. I loved the mommies in Mortal Kombat. Hell yes. I both loved and was intrigued.
Well, thank you for jumping on the show. And as always, that's not all, folks. Have a good day.
It's showtime. I don't know how to say that without it sounding like Beetlejuice.
From New Line Cinema, the studio that brought you Cool Hand Cage, Hard to Cage, and Rebel Without a Cage, comes Uncaged Fury. Starring Johnny Cage.
It's showtime.
Uncaged Fury. Coming to a theater near you this October.